Hi besties, welcome back to my channel. So today I have a very exciting video. I haven't done a book recommendation video in a minute. I feel like it's been a while. I don't know, I've been doing so many reading vlogs lately that I haven't been actually doing book recommendations, but today I got you and I'm gonna give you guys some book recommendations. So make sure to subscribe down below and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. So let's go ahead and get started because I have quite a few books to talk about. So I got a little bit closer. I feel like I was way too far. So let's start with the first book that I'm so excited to talk about because this is literally one of the first books that I've read from this genre, and I'm literally so happy that this was the book because it's so good. Okay, so this book is The Women of Rothschild by Natalie Livingstone. First, I have to talk about this book and the presentation of this book because this is one of the most luxurious books I've ever gotten in my entire life. So it is a hardcover book, but you guys, the actual pages inside are so good quality. I'm not even joking. The pages are those really high quality pages, if you know what I mean. The cover is so pretty and I really like it because at the top you get some of the women that are talked about in the book, which I feel like it's really important for the entire story. So overall, the presentation of this book is just insanely gorgeous. So essentially, The Women of Rothschild is a rewriting of the history of the Rothschild dynasty, but the book focuses on the women of Rothschild, so the women in the Rothschild family, how they contributed to the dynasty, everything that was left out about the women of Rothschild, because there have been other rewritings of this family, but none of those other books actually talk about and go in depth of the impact that the women of this family had in the dynasty. So one thing that I really liked is that it's sectioned off in parts. So there are 4 parts in the book, and each part is about the history of various women in the Rothschild family. It's basically a whole story that starts with the founder of the Rothschild family and how they actually became a dynasty. And you get the story of each woman and how they contributed to the dynasty in each chapter and each part. And honestly, it was really easy to read. I thought I was gonna have a hard time reading it because I knew it was gonna be very different from my usual romance books that I read. But I have to say that I was able to read everything. It was very easy to read. The only thing that it's a lot of information, I would say, if you don't know anything about the women of Rothschild, but I feel like it's very, very worth it to read it. So essentially the book starts with the story of the founder of the Rothschild dynasty, which was Mayer Rothschild, and how when he died in 1812, he basically left in his will that no daughters, son-in-law, or their heirs would have a share in the business of the bank. So Mayer left the entire banking dynasty, the Rothschild banking dynasty, to his sons. And he literally left out all the women. And that is the reason why women have been shadowed in this entire family. And they are not really talked about because the men are the main topic. So with each chapter, you get the story of different women in the family and how valuable they actually were in this entire process. So the book essentially celebrates the achievements made and influences held by the women in the Rothschild family. So the book really talks about female empowerment. It also talks about the Jewish history, which was really interesting to read because I didn't really know much about Jewish history, and this book really gets into it, but it's all connected to the story and it's really interesting. I love how female empowerment is really a topic in this book, and it shows with the women of Rothschild, despite of being excluded from having a share in the Rothschild bank dynasty, they still accomplished so many things. They choreographed electoral campaigns, they advised prime ministers, they traded stock exchanges, they played such important roles in civil rights movements and Jewish emancipation. There are so many amazing and important things that these women did, and people don't really know about them. So this book really highlights that and gives a voice to women in history. So if you guys want to get the book, I got you. The link is in the description. Let me know if you get it. Let me know if you read it. I would love to discuss it with you, but definitely highly recommend you guys. It was really good. Okay, the next book that I'm going to talk about, I don't have it in paperback yet, but it's arriving. It's getting here, you guys. The book that I'm going to talk about is King of Wrath by Anna Huang. I know I haven't done my monthly reading wrap-up, which is, this book is going to be in my monthly reading wrap-up, as well as The Women of Rothschild, and a lot of these book recommendations actually. But King of Wrath is the first book in a new series by Anna Huang. If you don't know who Anna Huang is, she's the same author as the Twisted series. You guys know I love the Twisted series with all my heart. It's one of my favorite series ever. So again, King of Wrath is the first book in her new series. So each book is about a different couple, which is very important mentioning. But King of Wrath is about the first couple, which is Vivian and Dante. So if you guys want like a full-on like reading vlog for this book, I actually did one. It's the last video that I uploaded. I share like my experience reading the book and everything. This is an arranged marriage with enemies to lovers and kind of like with an ulterior motive of the main male character. It really reminded me of Twisted Love, which is the first book in the Twisted series, which I loved. But this book was really intriguing. I was hooked. I do have to say, but my only thing with this book is that it was a little bit repetitive at one point because you're kind of like anticipating something, and I'm not a very patient person, so I was like really anticipating a part, so I was really impatient. That was the only thing. But when the actual plot like exploded and everything happened, it was very good. I think the only thing I wished the book would have had a little bit more was the kind of like the happy ending of the couple, because it's a lot of slow burn, a lot of tension, a lot of enemies to lovers, which we love, but that's the only thing. But either way, like I fully recommend this book. It also obviously has some spicy scenes. They are kind of detailed, so keep that in mind. But if you want to start like a good spicy romance series, totally recommend. Totally recommend. I'm waiting for the second book over here. Like I can't wait for the second book. Okay. Third book that I'm going to recommend to you guys today is, are we surprised? I don't think we are. It Starts With Us by Colleen Hoover. I know there's been so many mixed opinions on this book, but this is the only thing that I have to say, and it's what I've been saying this entire time since I read it. Like, if you expect this book to have like a whole different plot, to have like a whole story of its own, and to be this plot-driven book, you're not gonna get that. But I mean, that's fine, just because this is a sequel to It Ends With Us. So essentially this book starts, so what happened at the last few pages of It Ends With Us, this is where we start in this book. And it's basically just a book for the people who loved Atlas and Lily in It Ends With Us. And if you look at the acknowledgements of this book at the end, you are probably going to see that this book was never going to happen actually, and Book Talk was the one, like we were the ones who asked for a sequel so much that we got it. Like this book is for us, for the people who loved the first book. So that's what I have to say. This book is just the happy ending that we asked for. The only thing that I do want to say, like, I wish the ending would have ended with Lily's POV, because it ended with Atlas's POV, which I didn't mind, but I felt like it needed one more POV. So Lily, and then it ended, you know, but that's the kind of only issue. But overall, like I loved seeing Lily and Atlas happy. Atlas is the freaking perfect book boyfriend ever. But this book is also a single mom trope, which I feel like it hasn't been like really said, but it's a single mom trope. And we get new characters, which I can't really say because it's basically a spoiler, so I'm not gonna say it, but we get new characters, and just the dynamic of these new characters, I love that. But overall, if you want Lily and Atlas's happy ending, just read it. Just read it. Like, if you don't like it afterwards, you didn't like it. But honestly, give it a try. Like, okay, the next book, I don't actually have the paperback yet. I also want to get that one, but is a book that I don't remember where I talked about this book. I think it was in the podcast. It's The Mountain Is You by Brianna West, and this is a self-help book / self-improvement book. And it's really about self-discovery. It's a really positive book, and it really taught me so many great things. I want to get the paperback so I can like annotate a lot of things. I'm not going to sugarcoat it because it's not like everything is going to be okay book. Like yes, but it also kind of helps you wake up. Like, it says the things straight to the point, how they are. But if you want to start learning more about yourself and start this kind of like process of self-discovery, self-help, self-improvement, like improving your mental health, improving your life, I really would recommend this book. I actually started reading this book because the Wizard Liz on YouTube recommended it, and I love her. So I picked the book up and highly recommend. Like, it's a really great book. Okay guys, and the last recommendation for this video is actually a duet. So it's a duet by Erin Sterling, and technically the first book is The X-Hex, and then the second book that came out this year recently is The Kiss Curse. So I really liked The X-Hex last year. I read it in October last year, and I read this one this year, so October again, because they're basically for like the Halloween season. And honestly, these two books are so entertaining, funny, fun to read, also short books. So let me set the scene for The Kiss Curse, because technically it's the second book. So in The X-Hex, we get the first couple, which is Vivian and Riz, and it's a whole story, but Vivian, the main character, has a cousin, and her cousin is basically the main character in The Kiss Curse. So essentially you do want to read The X-Hex first, because they mention the couple and certain things that happened after what happened in this book. So if you don't want to get lost, you should read The X-Hex first. So the cousin is Gwen. So Gwen is the main female character in this book, and the main male character is Wells. He has another name, but I literally cannot pronounce it, so let's just call him Wells, because in the book they call him Wells. But the book is basically about witches, so Gwen and Wells are both witches, and Gwen lives in this small town, and she has a kind of like a witchy shop for tourists, you know what I mean? And Wells is actually Riz's brother from the first book, but they don't really get along. Like, Riz and Wells don't really get along. But in this book, Wells decides to move to the same town that Gwen lives in, and he decides to open another witchy shop. So essentially it's a business rivals, enemies to lovers at the same time. There are actually two different plot twists at the end, which one I kind of did see coming and the other one not so much. But overall, like, I really recommend this duet. Gwen is so funny. She's so funny. I loved her so much. So definitely, if you want like a spooky romance with adventure and mystery, this is gonna be perfect. So you guys, those are all the book recommendations for today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video and got some new recommendations. Remember, if you want to get The Women of Rothschild by Natalie Livingstone, the link is in the description. I highly recommend it. It's really good. Make sure to subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you get notified when I upload more videos. And stay tuned, because I'm going out of town and I have so many cool videos planned. So I'm so freaking happy for that. So stay tuned. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!